Because the interesting thing was everyone moved there. So it's kind of like you just picked up everyone here and you placed them there. So they all knew each other.
Yeah.
So in a sense, we kind of became strangers in our own home.
Jackpocket, America's #1 and pretty much only lottery app right on your cell phone. You know the deal. Jackpocket on your phone. You don't have to go to the to the gas station. You don't have to go to the bodega. You don't have to buy a paper ticket. You can just get it all right on your phone. I asked this question to these clowns. If you won Powerball or Mega Millions, which let me just pull up the app real quick and give you an exact number on it right now. Powerball's at 113 million, and Mega Millions is up to 387 million. What would you buy if you hit those?
I would buy 2 houses right away.
Where?
One in Long Island, and then one in I was just thinking about where I would do it. I would do a mountain house somewhere.
Okay.
I really want a mountain house, probably in Vermont.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, we did not win again. I'm gonna show you how easy it is. As always, I gotta take the glasses off so that people can see my face. I'm gonna go to Mega Millions. You click order. You go. I'm gonna do $2 quick pick, place order, confirm, Face ID, done. I have my ticket. It takes literally, that was 7 seconds, and I now have a chance to win $387 million for $2. And I'll tell you this much: use promo code KFC if it's your first time. You can do it for $0. Right now, they will give you a free ticket, including Powerball or Mega Millions, the big jackpots. Also, you can do $1,000 a day for life. You can do the Pick 4, the Take 3, where you win lesser amounts, but they're easier to potentially win. Right now, over $540 million have been paid out in Jackpocket to Jackpocket users. And really, it's just why not you? Mm-hmm. It might happen to you. Anybody who's ever won the lottery never was like, this is the one, I'm going to win the lottery. Everyone was like, I don't know if I should spend the money. It's just I'm not going to win. It's a waste. And then they do. They did. It's crazy. It's one of the craziest things that we do as a society. It's just every couple months, we make a random person $100 millionaire for no work, for fun. It's great. And you can do it all on your phone. Download Jackpocket today. Use code KFC and get a free ticket. Jackpocket, America's #1 lottery app and official partner of Barstool Sports. You got to say, Jackpocket.
Jackpocket.
All right, bang, bang. It's your boy, Eddie. I just finished up the dog walk with these guys a couple days ago, and they said something to me that was the nicest thing that anybody has ever said to me, and it's patently ridiculous. So I will take the compliment, but it's not reasonable. Eddie said that the Patriots and Dave is like me and the television blogs I used to write.
I don't think that's that crazy.
Wait, elaborate.
So you know how Dave says a lot of the success of Barstool is because of the Patriots?
Yes.
I would say a lot of KFC's best moments are hand in hand with Breaking Bad, The Leftovers, his TV.
Yeah.
All right, that makes a little more sense. That I will definitely take then. The way you first had said it was kind of Dave and the Patriots are linked together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wrote about television blogs, but I don't think anybody is when they think of Breaking Bad, they think of me. You know what I mean?
But you think of TV at Barstool.
Yeah. I guess that's
Yeah, you didn't fucking get dragged out of the Super Bowl,
right?
For Mike Ehrmantraut.
The owner, Vince Gilligan's not thanking me at Emmy Awards, Kraft and them are, But I was it made me feel. I told him afterwards. I was like, "Your boy doesn't get many compliments." So it felt
good.
It's
true though, and I'm not I'm not just a
I
but
believe
it is.
You guys.
Yeah, it is genuinely.
Yeah, White Sox Dave said he used to go into the dashboard and read them before I would publish them. Really? He wanted to read them so bad. It's wow, that's crazy.
I remember with The Leftovers was I liked the show. I didn't love the show, and I kept up with it longer than I intended to. Just to read the blogs,
yeah.
And then eventually
I was
got
writing
to a
them
point
for.
Where I was like, I can't keep up with the show anymore. I'll still give them the click, but I can't keep up with the show anymore.
There was probably 25 people reading those blogs, but they loved them. They were fucking. They were like dissertations. Those fucking blogs. And so, they got me motivated thinking about trying to do TV content, and even just I wrote a blog today.
Did you?
Oh.
Yeah. I hadn't finished it yet, but
What are you writing?
I've been meaning to do this. It's a second. I wrote an open letter to Steve Cohen when he was in the running for the Mets, being like, you need to buy the team, and I'm writing a second one to him about how he has to sign Juan Soto. So it's
You hear about who's creeping up?
no, really.
I think it's like I think John Heyman's really driving the bus on it, but the Red Sox are apparently infatuated with Juan Soto.
I mean, who? Who's not?
Yeah, he's not.
I actually saw.
Everyone's infatuated with Juan Soto. It's, are you infatuated with him enough to spend like $700 million?
Yeah.
And the Red Sox are I don't know though, because they also just didn't do it for Mookie, which was crazy.
Right.
But they got to
It
do
is-
something. I feel like their backs are really against the wall.
Really
Yeah.
against the
Yeah.
wall, and particularly right now as a Red Sox fan, I've had 2 or 3 years where like the team is a distant thought in my mind. I really, I probably go to 1 game a year. I maybe watch 3, and I think that all stemmed from like I think COVID, where I stopped watching baseball then, and I just kind of
Didn't
never
pick it
got
back
back
up.
on
Yeah.
it. And the comeback has really brought me back in, like very, very much to baseball as a whole, but to the Red Sox in particular. And I'm like, if they make a splash signing this year, like I'm all the way back. But
It's about time. They're due.
Yeah.
They got to get back in the hunt.
Well, because you guys never really had lulls. You guys were always pretty, like, you make the playoffs and you lose in the playoffs, and then.
No, but then they had that run where there was
Yeah,
a championship. For
Sure,
last place,
yeah, the
championship,
Bobby
last place.
Valentine years
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
But for a while, you guys were pretty,
Yeah.
like, at least making it to the
Right.
base.
at least, yeah, you were in the conversation.
It was I remember
Even when we were bad, it was a surprise. It was like, well, they fucking sucked this year, and then it was like, oh,
Yeah.
they won the championship next year. It was weird.
There was that period of time where it was the Yankees and Red Sox were almost like punting the division for the wild card based on like who they wanted to face.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
like we're gonna get one or the other.
Yeah, like that's why the Yankees and the Cubs were always. I mean, the Red Sox and the Cubs were kind of different because the Cubs were always like in the shit.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
where the Red Sox were like always.
Yeah,
kinda
they're
like-
good.
Yeah, at
Big
least like when I
market.
started like really locking into sports, like probably 2000, right? I was like that 10 to 12 range.
Yeah,
where it
the
was like,
Pedro years were basically like
yeah, like I remember when they signed Manny, which is late 90s. That was like, okay, I'm really gonna lock in, but then from then on until probably 2020, every year was like, you were a not legit contender. You were legit in the conversation before the season started,
right.
And then maybe
And
the
then
season
you fell
started and you
off
fell
and
apart.
whatever,
But
yeah.
like you were like, they might be fucking good this year.
Dude, I actually had this moment, this epiphany in the shower today because up until this year with the Mets, even during this year with the Mets early on, I was kind of like done, as being like a nuts fan because 2022 really killed me. I put like my literal soul into that team, and when they lost, I was like shattered, and I was like, I can't be like this anymore. And then this year was so disappointing in the beginning. I was like, I'm just gonna be like every other older guy. Like you don't see many like 50 and 60-year-old guys who are like rabid, like foaming at the mouth. They just kind of watch and I think it's because they've been through so many ups and downs where eventually you stop getting upset about every single time the bullpen blows a game because you're just like, you'll be there. And I really thought of it as because here's where my brain went. I was thinking about television because I was tweeting about the dog walk. Started thinking about Game of Thrones, the new one, House of the Dragon, and how much it sucked, but how I'll still watch it because their problem right now, House of the Dragon, is that they haven't done anything, not that they've done something bad.
Yeah.
And that means you still have a blank canvas because they still, season 3 could be the big war and who takes the throne and all that. Whereas if they did the war and this guy had the throne and this person died, you can't undo that shit. So as bad as much as it's, and then so I started thinking about the Mets where it was like every year hope springs eternal, and what they do is they fucking suck. The same way it's like, I'll probably be like, season 3 of Game of Thrones might be good, and it'll suck again because that's what they do.
Yeah.
But you have that chance because it's still like a clean slate, and that's what I realized about sports is that every year it's like a reset. But then I tried to think of it. I swapped it again, and I was like, I'm gonna just start treating the Mets like a movie, like a 9-month movie. Because this year was like a movie. There was the downs, the ups and the downs. There was Grimace and Haktua and the song and all that. And this was a particularly like chock full season of like fun off the field storylines. But every year there's storylines of like who's the asshole, who's the hero, who's the unsung guy. And I was like, if you think of it like a movie where it's just like a plot that's going to unfold. And like some movies are fucking amazing and they stick the landing and you win a World Series, and some of them are not, and you're just kind of like,
Yeah,
it
you
was
can't
just a
think of
movie.
it as like Halloween, where like half the sequels suck.
Right.
prior
It's just
concept.
every single time you have a shot, and if you just
I
treat
did
it
that
like a
with
movie.
I just saw Conclave, and I really liked it up until I didn't. And it's like they lost the championship. Where, like,
So it was bad ending, or like you just kind of lost interest halfway through. You mean?
No, it was like I don't want to spoil it because it's very much a movie worth seeing. But like,
Is it true story?
No.
But it's about the Pope. and
It's all the
that, but
backstabbing.
Got it.
Yeah,
got
it's
it.
all
Okay,
about
okay.
electing a new pope, and it's all the backstabbing and
Boy, that
blackmail.
It might be more of a true story than you think, though, because that's got to be one of the most corrupt motherfuckers things in the world.
No, there's no kid banging, so
They can't be that real.
can't be that.
Not that. But if you think about what the Pope really is, like there's a billion people who like turn to that guy. That's
pretty crazy.
That's a.
I think
big
one line in the
time.
movie is like, in an hour, you're going to be the most famous man in the world. And it's like, yeah, you probably. I mean, you're not really. Like, if the Pope walked in here, I'd probably be like, who's this fucking old guy? If he wasn't,
yeah.
if
Well,
he's
you
in
gotta
full,
be-
if he's
that's
in
the
full
thing.
regalia,
He's
He's
a
decked
robe,
out,
yeah. Are you anti-movie, or you're just
No.
not? Okay.
No, I love movies.
Okay, because I was gonna say I feel like you stray more towards TV though, right?
Oh well, yes, I do lean more towards TV, but I'm not by no means am I anti-movie. I love the movies, and I always am like I'm gonna go see this, and I just like don't. So I guess I can't say I love it that much because I never get up off my ass. I'm more of a on-demand, wait till it comes on television kind of guy.
Movies are my favorite place.
Yeah, like every time I go, I'm like, this is the
Favorite.
best.
It's the only place I could put down my phone and not think
Yeah.
about it.
I will like.
You go. I mean, he goes more than anybody I know.
I go probably like 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Nah, that's excessive, but once or twice a week.
I was gonna say, but I mean, even going every week is a lot for if you see 50 movies a year, you're probably in the top like 0.1%.
Do you have
Yeah.
the pass and everything like that?
I'm on AMC A list. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, all right. I'm surprised you do. You're the type of guy to just fucking pay.
Yeah,
I
that is
just
true.
got it. Like I got it this summer.
And so that's what's motivated me to see all these
Once
movies
you
that I
pay
would
for
never
it?
seen. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like
Well, how much did you pay? Because remember the OG deal.
was 10.
Was
That was
five.
movie pass.
I thought it was 5.
Was it 5?
It might have been 5.
Was
it?
it?
I genuinely think I put them out of business because I would walk.
Yeah, wait. Explain it, because I mean, there's probably a whole like swath of like young people who don't even understand what this is.
It was probably like 2018, something like that.
Oh, I think it was even earlier than that. No.
It was definitely in New York.
Okay.
So maybe it was 17.
Okay.
Because we moved here at the end of 2016, so it was maybe 17, 18. And
I feel like it was like when I was in like high school and shit. But maybe I'm
yeah,
thinking
17, 18 sounds right. to me.
it was you got a credit card and you would buy the movies on that credit, and the credit card cost $5, $10, whatever. It was definitely no more than 10. It was either $5 or $10 per month, and you just got to go to every single movie for free.
Nuts.
It sounds like the black box, like your friend's parents.
Yeah,
had when you were a
yes,
kid.
yes,
It sounded
yes.
like it was like we just get everything for free.
Well, when you think about it, though, like airing a movie, whether there's one person, it doesn't cost you anything to air it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you have to like acquire it from a studio and shit, but it's not like running it. You could run it all day long if there's someone in the theater or not in the theater. It doesn't really matter. So like just getting people to lock in for a little bit a month.
well, it's
rather
like what
than-
they always said, that movie theaters aren't actually movie theaters; they're popcorn sales places.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Where like that's where they make that.
Because
money.
if you're looking at like me, I like movies. I say I go to the movies, but I really end up only going a couple times a year. But if you could basically lock me in for once a month, which is what it is.
Yeah, but the
then
problem
it's a
with
big-
the movie pass though was they didn't own the theater either. They were just a third party, so they weren't making the popcorn sales. So I don't know. Like
So
no
what
one
were
knew.
they? What were they providing then?
Honestly,
like-
the big thing was everyone said they were collecting data. Remember that? It's like,
Yeah.
don't get that. They got your data. It's like, well,
BlueChew, get your dick hard. Get your dick hard. Hard dicks here. Get your dick hard. That's basically BlueChew is the hot dog concession vendor of hard dicks. You want a hard dick? Hey, you want 2 hard dicks? Get your dick hard. Here's a BlueChew. They pop it to you, catch it in the mouth like it's a circus act, and bam, you get yourself a nice hard boner. What a world. Think about how many. Here's a question for you. At what point did people get like performance anxiety and all that sort of shit? Because for the first like a zillion years, a caveman was just like, I'm gonna come in one pump. Who cares, you know? And then it was probably a whole period of time where men were just like, we don't care about you women. It doesn't matter if I last long and please you. I bet you getting like concerned about your boner or coming too quickly is like very new.
I think that's whenever like porn searches were the highest, started getting high. I would say that's when people's dicks started getting as hard.
That's
that's like the number one like
point.
cause, right? Is it that, or
Probably.
is it like food?
I don't know what it is. Well, there's also two different things between getting your dick hard and being like performance anxiety, where it's like, oh no, I'm gonna come fast and I'm gonna be embarrassed. I think for so long, guys are just like, don't care.
Yeah.
I'm sure Caller Daddy also like has.
You think it's that? You think it's that close? Like that?
Be like, oh, they're talking about it and they're talking.
They're gonna air us out. Yeah. I mean, when Viagra hit the scene, that was that's pretty long ago now, so it had to be back then. But, that was almost like taboo, and it was a secret, and you had to get a prescription from a doctor that was going to, like, really, now it's just like BlueChew's got you covered. You sign up, you fill out the questionnaire, they understand what you need, and they give you your prescription. So what a time to be alive, where everyone else, for the last couple generations or whatever, we're just like, I don't know. My dick doesn't get hard, and I can't last in bed, and I just have to be embarrassed about that for the rest of my life. Not anymore. BlueChew's got you covered. So download or go to BlueChew.com. Use promo code KFC. Get your first month for free. A month of boners for free. Jackie, how much money would you put on a boner? Like if you were about to hook up with a guy, and you're like, I want this to be good. I want this to last, and I want it to be like the right boner, bam, I can pay that money to make it happen. How much would you pay?
Like, price that.
Think about it.
A lot
Think
of
about
money.
it. If you were like
Priceless.
priceless.
You can't put a price on a boner.
So now you can just do it. It's affordable. It's easy. And like I said, a full month of BlueChew boners for free when you go to BlueChew.com. Use promo code KFC. Check them out. Thanks to BlueChew for sponsoring the show. Back to the movies. It's like it's the best. Like every time I'm in it, I'm like, I gotta come more. And then I just
You gotta get the
what
pass.
usually happens is there is certain I will go to Gladiator probably like the night it comes out. I went to Oppenheimer. I did the Barbenheimer thing. Like when there's an event, I go.
Did you buy your tickets yet?
No, is it too late? They're gonna be sold out.
I mean, in the city they are,
Yeah.
but I'm sure outside. They
Yeah,
can.
that's-
Oh yeah, I got that. That's like some real degenerate shit. Where like
get it
I had like a notification like Gladiator tickets are on sale.
Push notifications.
I got them
up.
November 22nd.
Yeah.
I'll be there 7:45.
And then did you hear he's doing Black Panther 3,
Yes.
which is
He announces like farewell tour.
Yeah, he's like, I'm doing Othello. I'm doing King Lear. I'm doing Black Panther. and
Another
then-
unnamed movie from this director.
Yeah. Oh,
Is it really a farewell tour, or you're just saying that? Like,
No,
No,
yeah,
he,
he's like
he
said, like,
named
that's it.
like 4
Yeah.
5 movies. He's like, I'm done after this.
I love that move though.
Yeah, but what if a project
also-
you can't say no to comes along?
Well,
Which will
that's why it's
Yeah.
like when Jay-Z retired like 4 times,
Yeah.
and it just builds up hype for every fucking. Oh,
Yeah.
this is his last movie. This is his last go round. It's like, nah, I'll be there.
And I think he's fucking up because not to stereotype because they look alike and they're the same race, but feels like he's got that Morgan Freeman future in
Yeah,
his
he
back.
should just
yeah.
be the old black guy.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Especially
Like-
with a distinctive voice. and-
Yes,
dude,
right?
that scene. What's that movie called? Fuck. It's just like one word. Really like powerful.
With
like-
Morgan Freeman.
No, Denzel. There's that scene where he's talking to his son about how I don't have to like you.
It's not Flight, right?
No. It's pull up the list of movies. I'll see it. It's with like Viola Davis and like a bunch of like
Fences.
That's it. I was about to say Voices. He has a
You've
scene-
seen Fences?
Yeah.
Wow, I haven't seen Fences.
There's a scene with him talking to his son about and his son's like, how come you never like loved me and like liked me? And he's like, it's fucking brutal, but he's like, I don't have to like you, I don't have to love you, like I put a fucking roof over your head and all that shit.
Yeah.
And then because there's also, it was on Broadway and James Earl Jones plays that same character. So there's like James Earl Jones on stage and Denzel on the screen, and they're both like different, but same but different and awesome all together. When Denzel flexes, I mean, I know you know better than anybody. You've had the
Yeah.
Denzel argument, right?
Oh my
The big. I do fall in the middle of that argument. It was White Sox Dave said that Denzel doesn't have any range.
Yeah.
And then it was there another side of it with
every
all
role
you guys?
every role that he plays, he's the same guy.
It is a fair.
It's fair if you just watch those movies.
But okay,
like
but
Denzel does a lot of those movies, but he also does a lot of.
it's very similar to like Taylor Swift though. It's like there are other songs about other things, but when you have a bulk of your work and they're awesome, are a certain thing, you're gonna get.
But you can't say he doesn't have range. You can say I know him as this.
Yeah. Okay.
You
You shouldn't say. I think you can say he does not use his range as often as probably he could or should or other actors do.
But
that's
no,
why
I think he
Gladiator
does.
2 is
I think
gonna
you
be
just don't
interesting.
like. I don't think White Sox Dave sees King Lear.
Right. Well, I think
Like,
maybe
he could do
I
Shakespearean
think probably
fucking-
in recent years he probably has done a little bit more, but he had a run there where it was pretty, from like like John Q through probably into the Man on Fire and Equalizer 3 type shit.
Yeah, but
There
like
was a lot more of those than there was, and that's
those are
fair. Like most people do that. They do their blockbusters and they sprinkle in a couple like Oscar winning. You don't do those like all day every day, but. It's just it's also it's not necessarily a knock. It's just a fact about Denzel's collection that there is a lot of movies that are the old guy or father who is on a revenge tour or a protection thing.
But I think
Yeah.
his point is more like his inflection and the way he talks and everything is all kind of the same.
Oh, so even within the movies,
Yeah,
that it's
so,
like
and that's what's interesting because Gladiator 2 is going to be.
Well, he didn't. Yeah, I mean,
And that's
Gladiator 2 is a big check for Dave then.
Yes, exactly.
Because
That's
he
what,
didn't.
yeah.
He doesn't do the act. He's just
Yeah.
like fucking. I'm just talking like myself.
Like we had Jeff on our show like a couple months ago, and he said, "Yeah, in the trailer, he just sounds like Denzel."
But that's better than doing a bad.
for sure.
There's
for sure.
he did a movie when he was younger where he did a British accent and it was so bad.
really.
Yeah, it was-
I actually
think
just
it-
watched Crimson Tide last night. That's fucking.
Yeah, that's
fire.
a great movie. That's a great movie. What was that?
How'd you land on that?
Yeah, honestly, how I land on most of my movies I watch at home. Either Jeff Gooch or Ken Jack watched it in the last week, so it was on like one of those
Those
LCD
slides.
thing
I like
slides.
those
yeah.
slides.
Crimson Tide is I think a Michael Crichton book or no?
I don't know that.
I feel like it was one of those, or like a John Grisham novel or something like that.
Maybe it's. I'll say this though, it's been a very bad movie year in my eyes. At least.
It's been. I was actually looking through my letterbox last night. It's been. I have a lot of movies I liked, didn't love. Like a lot of movies, I was like, that was a good movie, but I'm not like, you gotta see this.
What do you think was the what do you rattle off the disappointments?
My bottom three, I wouldn't even say they're disappointments because it's not like I had. Well, one I did have kind of high hopes for was. Did you see the Bob Marley movie?
I did not see that one.
Oh
no.
my god!
I didn't even hear about this. What is it?
Oh yeah, One Love with the guy from Bridgerton.
Yeah, it was a biopic, and it was. Oh man.
Yeah, it must have been real bad because I feel like a Bob Marley biopic, if done correctly, would be a smash.
They dropped it in like January, buried it.
Yeah.
Okay. So they knew they had a clunker.
They had to.
Because I didn't see they didn't promote it. I didn't see it at least.
No, maybe. No, it is called One Love. Okay. They promoted it. It's like they promote it.
You know what they?
The people going like it was a lot. It was actually way too much with like. It was every trailer.
Yeah.
Like
it
every
was a
at
lot.
the theater.
Okay,
it was
okay.
like
That's
all the time.
you guys probably saw it a lot more than I did then. You know what they really snuck in there? We talked about this the other day. That Clooney and Brad Pitt movie.
Wolves.
Oh, I didn't see that. It was bad.
Oh, it's so bad.
I mean, George Clooney and Brad Pitt star in a fucking movie, and they just announced it like the week it dropped on Apple TV.
I
was like, I turned on Apple TV to go watch.
That's how you know.
What was I watching? The other one. That's
It's actually
not promoted
got
well on
pretty
Apple
good-
TV, and I was like, wait, what is this? How did I miss this?
It's Rotten Tomatoes is actually decent.
Oh, I've been over Rotten Tomatoes
Me
for
too.
a long time now.
It's
almost exclusively the opposite of Rotten Tomatoes.
I really got over it the other day when people were like, whatever episode of The Penguin is the best TV episode of all time.
Right.
I was like, well, it's number one on Rotten Tomatoes. I was like, well, people didn't used to watch Breaking Bad and then rush to Rotten Tomatoes to rate it. They watched it and
also,
then go,
everyone who rushes to Rotten Tomatoes is a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
like it is. I really almost feel like I tend to totally disagree. I'm like, you must be the
Critics
snobby
or
critics.
audience, though?
That's my thing. Like, I believe the best movies, or at least the most enjoyable, are the movies that have the biggest gap.
Between critics and audience.
And if you look at I always use Saving Silverman as an example. There's like an 85% gap.
It's a great movie.
Great movie.
Great movie.
Great movie.
Critics have their fucking nose up in the air about it.
but Wolves is so. I got not even worth watching.
They're kind of like cleaners, right?
They're both cleaners who get called to like
which
the
sounds
same.
gonna be good.
Yeah.
It's like it feels like it's a 20-minute script that they stretched into like an hour 20.
yeah.
And it's not good.
Have you guys ever seen that 20-minute movie that De Niro?
No, remember we were talking about this.
The one with the De Niro, Brad Pitt, Clooney, that Scorsese directed.
We
Yes.
were going through somebody's catalog doing one of these movie debates,
Yeah.
and we were like, what is this
And they all
movie?
got paid like $18 million a piece.
Yeah, and it was
Yeah.
what?
So it was a promotional movie for Macau, like gambling
Really?
world. Yeah.
Got it.
So they paid him a shit ton of movie. It's honestly like credit to them for getting that check to do that because there it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally, if you haven't
No.
seen or heard about it, it's like directed by Scorsese. He's got De Niro, Pacino, DiCaprio, Matt Damon, Brad Pitt, George Clooney, Jack Nicholson. It's like, it's insane.
I don't think they
the
ever
audition.
made like a graphic for it. I don't,
No, because that is it. That thing right there.
That's
That's the
the
only thing I
audition.
saw. Yeah, that one with the 4 of them right there.
16 minutes.
Yeah. They got like $1 million a minute each.
Yeah.
Crazy, man.
What were you the other two?
The Strangers, they rebooted. It's my
Terrible.
favorite horror movie of all time.
Terrible.
You saw the new one too?
Well, it was just like, it was like literally just the same exact.
Yeah.
There was nothing.
but way
new to it.
worse.
Yeah.
Like the blood scene. With
Yeah.
the
Terrible.
one of the
So
worst
bad.
scenes I've ever seen.
So
in my
bad.
life.
Yep.
And then it was this one was the only. I usually don't factor in like straight to Netflix or Hulu for this stuff, but Unfrosted was pretty bad.
I actually didn't hate Unfrosted.
No.
I didn't love it,
I
but like
didn't
it
even
was.
bother.
I had it on and I was like, "This is fun. It's fun. It's not. It wasn't like again. It certainly wasn't great."
I think the
But,
problem with that is that Jerry Seinfeld is such a cocksucker that if you put something out that's like it was a fun thing,
Yeah.
when it's at least it seems like every single quote from Jerry Seinfeld is like what's wrong with comedy and
Yeah,
entertainment
but he
and all
actually walked that back hard recently.
Good,
which
because he should shut the fuck up about it.
But is he getting asked? Because there's a big difference. He's doing
Well,
like a media circuit.
Yeah,
I feel
but
like,
you also have to like know and like keep yourself in check at some point. Like if every time I went on a podcast I was getting questions about Barstool and my reputation started to go a certain way, I think I would like the next time I get asked about it, fucking answer it differently or put an end to it or whatever. But I think he relished being like he was also very late to the cause, I feel like. By the time we were already rolling our eyes about cancel culture and wokeism, he's like doing his speech at the fucking college. I was like, bro, we're like through this and out of it already. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What did you think of the dog walk?
The draft?
Yeah,
I thought it was awesome.
I said I as soon as I was done, I said this was my first rear admiral moment at Barstool where I was like, I am the old guy. Like every pick I said, I was like.
Yeah, he was.
And they were like, I didn't even know.
But who else was like? I feel
Well,
like
like Chiefs old too. Like
I know.
he's-
I thought
yeah.
Cons is old and he knows my shows. Cons was like I think in line with me. I thought Chief would have known. He said he didn't know 4 of my 5 picks.
What were your picks?
He knew Breaking Bad, and then I had
Shield.
The Shield, Dexter, Californication, and Justified.
I mean, obviously, I know all and have seen all, but like, I don't know how you don't know. None of those are like deep cuts.
Right.
Like,
I was thinking when we finished the draft, my last pick was
Actually, I've seen
like
The Shield.
the most difficult like thing I've done because I was like, I have 1 pick left and 11 shows in one draft. I had like 2 more full drafts of honorable mentions that I would have been happy with and been like, I think those 5 could go toe to toe with your guys' 5.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I just texted it to you, Jackie. It's yeah. I mean, I don't know how he said he didn't know 4 out of 5. That's crazy.
Or
Like I haven't,
yeah,
or even seen him maybe.
The way he said he was like, I don't know like 4 of the 5. Like if you haven't seen it, I guess.
Yeah.
But I was like, Dexter is like a fucking massive.
Dexter
show.
got rebooted like last year.
It got booted like 3 times.
Yeah.
Like, it was funny though. I always struggle with the dog walk because I never know whether I want to try to win, whether I want to try to get my personal best like picks out there, or like this one I almost felt like I'm going to pick some older shows that maybe people don't know to put them on to shit that. Because what's crazy to me, dude, is like really coming to terms with being old. That like to me, those shows are not old. Those are just like television shows.
Yeah.
Those shows are like 25 years old now. There are shows that are fucking, if when I was growing up, if someone was trying to tell me to watch something from the 70s, I'd be like, get the fuck out of here.
No, dude.
But to me, it's like, no, that's not that. It's like, yes, it is, man.
Yeah.
It is.
That's a mind fuck for sure.
Eddie's got me with his last 3. I don't love the first 2.
Sons.
You don't like Stranger
What I
Things?
should
You don't
have
like
done.
Black Mirror?
I like Stranger Things. Don't love both of them.
Okay.
Like I've seen them and watched them all.
Stranger Things is a good. Actually, both of those I think are good like cultural picks though.
Yeah,
They
you
both
put,
were
like,
like chatter. You know what I mean? Stranger
Yeah.
Things is a big talked about show. Black Mirror as well, and I know Squid Game is too, but I hated the Squid Game pick. It's one season. There's nothing like you can have like the same. There's like one conversation you can have about Squid Game. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's like, and it was a big deal, but that's
It's
what I mean.
definitely
You can
down-
draft all sorts of different ways of like popularity versus deep cuts versus your personal favorites.
Yeah.
What I should have done was I didn't know if anybody was going to take Suns. I should have swapped the Shield and Suns because nobody was going to take the Shield, and I could have taken the Suns and gotten both.
I would definitely, if I had a vote in this, my vote would definitely be between you two.
Yeah, I think.
Thank you.
The Shield. A lot of Shield love.
Dude, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
it's one of like the real original ones because it's that first anti-hero type shit.
I also didn't know Khan just wasn't a huge TV guy. That surprised me.
I thought Cons was an everything guy.
That's what I thought.
He's got all. You want an opinion? Cons has got you.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought.
Well, I mean, I didn't think he was not a TV guy.
Yeah,
did he?
I guess, but he seemed like he. Remember at the beginning, he's like, "There's a lot of stuff I have on my board that I've never seen."
Well,
It's
he
like,
he also
do
he
that.
said he was going to draft things he hadn't watched.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that is kind of crazy.
This is non HBO, obviously.
Yeah,
as
that
it
was
says.
But I was actually, HBO is the GOAT. But I was, again, when I really sat down and made the list, I was like, there's a lot of these shows that I would maybe take over some HBO.
Yeah.
Yeah,
when you first asked me, I was like, oh, I don't know. HBO has like all the great shows. And then
Yeah.
I started
Not
thinking
really.
about it.
There's that AMC.
I think
FX
I had two texts you where it was like, oh, I don't know. That's really hard. HBO does all the good shows. And then I was like, oh, wait, I have 100 ideas.
yeah. Mindhunter was the one modern day one. Chief got that one that I was thinking about trying to get. And then Yellowstone was the final. That's actually good value as the final
For
pick
sure.
of the draft. They
Dude, Taylor Sheridan. I just saw today a poster for. He's just running it back again.
dude, he does even more than I realized. He has Yellowstone, 1883, 1953.
You can't have two shows. being-
There's a third. There's
Can't.
a third year, and then there's another one
This one I'm actually Googling. 'cause
on top of Tulsa King of Tulsa, Mayor of Kingstown,
Yeah.
Lioness. He's running like he's legitimately show running, producing, or writing some combination of those things for like 10 shows.
That's a lot.
At once.
It's a lot.
Bro, it's 10x what you usually do.
Yeah, you can't
People
do
don't
that.
even usually run two at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is the
There's
one
just
you're
no
thinking
way.
of. But the only reason I saw it when I got off the subway today, I saw posters for it. Landman?
Yeah, yes. It's like what is that?
Deep in the heart of West Texas, Roughnecks and Wildcat Billionaires. It's just the same
It's
show.
Yellowstone. just make sure one of them is good instead of having three that are spread out.
Roughnecks and Wildcat Billionaires try to get rich quick in the oil business as oil rigs begin to dominate the state. It's Billy Bob Thornton, John Hamm, and
It's like take an
and
old
Demi
actor
Moore.
who's having a revival. You know what I mean? It's like the same. The Yellowstone behind the scenes, I think, is actually fascinating though because Costner signed on what was supposed to be one season, and they said maybe a movie, and he was like, cool. And that's why he had cancer, and he was like, I got to pass it down. It was kind of Breaking Bad-esque. Then I think he was so big, they just said he had an ulcer, and they were like, never mind, he doesn't have cancer. He had an exploding ulcer. He's fine. So that was kind of their way around that. And he said, I'll give you 3 seasons. They somehow convinced him, probably just a fat bag of cash and maybe chopping up some episodes. They convinced him to do 5. And then the writer's strike hit and COVID hit. And he was like, I'm willing to like finish it. Let's go. But the strike and COVID were a problem. And then once that was over, Sheridan didn't have a script because he was fucking probably busy making 8 other shows. And Costner was like, come on. I got to do this other shit. And then when I guess Sheridan finally maybe finished the script or had the script somewhat ready, Costner said, I'll give you 1 week of shooting to do the whole season. And they
No
were like,
shit.
we can't do a season in a week.
Yeah.
He was like, do all my scenes in a week and like you can do it. And so it was like a back and forth, and they just, I mean, I guess no spoilers, but
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but
He
yeah.
killed himself.
All right.
I haven't seen it either. But I saw it.
Yeah, I don't want to. There's more. There's a little more to it.
Yeah,
than that.
you're a big dope sick guy though, right?
Oh yeah. It's his comfort TV.
Dude,
he watches it like every night.
Love.
He's so sick. You're so sick.
I think I'm just in love with Michael Keaton.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, that's really it.
Did you like Painkiller?
What's that?
Painkiller?
Painkillers. I liked it. Didn't if it came out before Dope Sick, I would have been like, that
Wait,
was
he's
great.
in a show also called Painkiller?
No.
Oh, okay.
But it's the same show.
Right.
But it's a fun little behind the scenes about Painkillers. That was one of Taylor Kitsch's like passion projects because his sister was addicted to pills, and when she got clean, he hired her to be his like acting coach on set.
Really?
Interesting.
Yeah.
No
We were
and
talking
now
about him, by the way. He's just
that's one I don't know. It's one season, so we can't put it on this list. But Terminal List.
Yeah, we mentioned that.
Good.
Terminal List.
I mean, I did
yeah,
Dope
dude.
Sick. It's only one season, so.
Terminal
List is Chris Pratt and a little bit of Taylor Kitsch running around on a Denzel revenge tour sort of thing, like I'm a Navy SEAL or like not like beyond Navy SEAL, like a special ops who you fucked with, some like off black market type shit, you know, and he's like realizing that they're like, you know, using people and turning them into like machines and murder, you know, whatever, and so he's like
they're making a season 2 of
very
it.
Breaking Bad. Did you do Game of Thrones? You know,
Yes,
yeah, you
I
do
did
that.
do Game
It's
of
very
Thrones,
Arya list, crossing everybody off. Like,
okay.
Yeah.
It's like they were Navy SEALs who like got put in a bad position, and they're realizing that like it was kind of a top down. They got fucked, and now everyone who put them on that,
he has also like his brain, like he doesn't know if he can like trust himself, right?
Yeah,
his brain's fucked up from like MK Ultra type shit and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So
they're doing a season 2, but it's a prequel.
Oh,
So Taylor Kitsch is back.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, you got to have that duo.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's where Bloodline fucked up.
I know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bloodline was good.
season 1 is fucking awesome.
Awesome.
What's his name? The Australian.
Ben Mendelsohn.
Ben Mendelsohn.
I think he's one of the best
That was-
actors.
that was
ever.
part of
You
our
ever seen
discussion.
Starboy? No, Startup. Starred up.
No.
It's like in an Australian prison. He goes to jail to be with his son. It's fucking sick.
Yeah.
He also did Animal Kingdom, which became a very popular show. But he did that.
Oh, yeah.
That show is based on an
I started to
Australian
watch
movie.
that. It is a good show, but there was a run in like 2013, 14, right before I had kids, and was blogging and like just doing the podcast once a week. Knew how to like blog my dick off so I could like write like 10 blogs in an hour and like be done for the day, and was still just like like nowadays when I do nothing, I feel like anxiety. I feel like I should be doing something, working, helping my kids, just like not being productive, whatever.
Yeah.
Before any of that set in, and I had no responsibilities, and I watched every fucking thing on television.
Yeah, you got a lot
Like
down for sure.
everything. Like I'm watching the Sundance Channel, like some new fucking artsy season 1 of this thing and that. It was like, oh, it was a beautiful time.
And now you're watching Rocky IV for the.
What a moment that was, man.
How did you get them to get into that?
So my kid was had his championship baseball game that morning, and so when we went there, it was in Danbury, Connecticut. There's like 5 fields, like 30 teams from like little kids up to high school kids, all having their championships. So everybody is playing hype up music and walk up music and all that shit. And we're walking by one of the fields to get to our game, and Eye of the Tiger comes on, and Keegan stops and was like, "What is this song?" And I was like, hell yeah, first of all, for you recognizing that, like, you know. And I was like, this is a song called Eye of the Tiger. It's fucking awesome. Like, I was like, you're getting hyped, like, you're feeling something, right? He was like, yeah, like, let's go. And I was like, and it's attached to this movie. And I started explaining it and describing it to my kids. And I was like, do you guys want to watch it tonight? And I'm like 10 from my last 10 on recommending, you know, The Mighty Ducks and Rookie of the Year. And we just did 3 Ninjas the other day. They love it all. Home Alone, all these things. So they actually listen to me now when I recommend a movie from, like, my time. And so we put that on, and it starts off slow, and it's a little bit old, and, you know, it looks different to them, and they were kind of not feeling it. And when it got cooking, when Apollo, I fast went through Apollo because they started freaking out. Like, Apollo's just getting his head beaten to death, and my daughter started to like kind of shield her eyes, and my son was looking, and I was like, okay, we'll fast forward this. I was like, and then they have a funeral. I was like, he's just gone now. But when Rocky started, they like started jumping out of their seat.
That's
I was like,
awesome.
it's timeless, man. It really is. Like that music. You combine music with that and like all that shit. It doesn't matter. You can play that from now till the end of time, and people will feel something. You know.
Yeah, the Rocky soundtrack is just.
We should maybe do a draft like that. I mean, you probably could do just Rocky, to be honest, but maybe just in general, like movie songs.
Pump Up music.
Because I think No Easy Way Out is better than Eye of the Tiger.
Really?
When in Rocky 4, when he's in his Ferrari, and he's just driving at night, like Apollo's dead, and he's like, should I fight him? Should I not? I don't know what to do. There's another montage. The movie is strictly montages, but that song I think is better than Eye of the Tiger.
I love In the Burning Heart and Hearts on Fire too.
Hearts on Fire. There's a lot. There's a lot of good ones in there.
There's so many. So I actually do agree with you. I think Eye of the Tiger.
Eye of the Tiger is kind of like.
Yeah.
You know.
And then the classic Rocky song.
Right. HelloFresh. The fall is here. Time to eat those hearty fall meals. I saw Rhea on Chicks in the Office the other day say that her cockles are yearning for stew. She thought the cockles were in her throat and didn't realize that cockles is from your heart. But I also get what she's saying. When you think about warming the cockles, you're thinking about being warm and hearty, and that's what stew is. We are into the fall where you're going to eat those type of meals like chilies and stews and things that are spicy and warm and hearty. And that's what HelloFresh has, a whole menu of not only that, but all sorts of other meals, different ethnic meals, different styles, different you can do different diets. You can do different meats, all on HelloFresh, where all fall and winter long you can make hassle-free, delicious meals. All the ingredients delivered right to your home. Chef-crafted recipes with recipe cards and directions that are as simple, instructions as simple as possible. You don't have to have any experience cooking. You don't have to go to the grocery store. You don't have to buy all the stuff. It comes directly to you, and all you got to do is just follow the instructions, pour in the prepackaged ingredients, and you got yourself a nice home-cooked meal with over 50 different recipes every single week to choose from. So step out of your recipe rut and make fun, flavorful meals at HelloFresh.com/free KFC. That's HelloFresh.com/free KFC. Applied across 7 boxes, you will get 10 free meals. So sign up for 7 boxes, and you get 10 free meals sprinkled in at HelloFresh.com/free KFC. While we have you here, before you get going, talk a little Barstool with the how's Chicago? I feel like, is it good?
Yeah, good.
I know you guys were, when you guys were kind of running Chicago. Dan came in, and it's his show now, but I feel like the dust has settled a little bit.
Yes.
Are you guys? I don't know. Just
it's good, dude.
For the Red Line crew, basically, Yeah,
it's good. It's because it was like a lot of change at once. Because obviously that's when our crew kind of split up, and then everyone came. So it was
that's right. Yeah, you had
a fucking wacky year, for sure.
Yeah.
And then
it's the greatest reality show on earth, Barstool.
Yeah, dude, there was.
We're unfortunately the ones that have to live it, but if you're watching it and enjoying it, or watching it from afar, it's the greatest reality show.
Yeah, dude. Like there was a lot of things to weather for sure. So. Once we got through all that, and because the interesting thing was everyone moved there, so it's kind of like you just picked up everyone here and you placed them there, so they all knew each other.
Yeah.
So in a sense, we kind of became strangers in our own home.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. It was
we're
like
the new guys. Trying.
Yes.
Like, I know everything around. Like, but I'm new in my city that I've lived in my whole life.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But like now it's not like everything.
Everybody
it was an adjustment period, but
kind
now
of integrated or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, when like they have their clique.
Yeah.
But it was a bigger one than yours, so like you guys become.
Yeah, which was like a mind fuck for sure.
Yeah.
Like rolling to work and being like, wait, I'm the new guy.
Yeah. You have to like introduce yourself to people, not the other way around.
Dude,
like
it was fucking weird. And then the same thing coming here. This is the first time I've been in the New York office in a year and a half. I'm looking around like, this place closed. This place closed. You guys got like fucking screens outside the pod studios.
Bro.
Like,
yeah.
So much random shit.
I texted somebody who hasn't worked here in 2 years.
Really?
I texted a tech guy being like, yo, I was thinking about like setting up like a landing page, and he was like, yeah, cool. And I was like, all right, so maybe like I'll come by. It was over the weekend, so I was like, sorry for the weekend text. I'll come by on Monday. I'll come upstairs. And he was like, I have not worked here in a long time. And as I sent it, I had a tingle. I was like, wait a minute, maybe I think this guy's gone. I mean, this place is, there's. I don't know who anybody is anymore, and like I think half of it is unused, just empty.
There's we
the amount of real estate, like we should do like a WeWork here.
Dave should get out of this lease ASAP.
For real, dude. Like I mean, honestly, like if you're gonna move, half the people, you probably should downgrade half. I think size. But you want more revenue out of New York? Fucking just rent the real estate. We got thousands of square feet in the heart of New York City. That's our best commodity.
I'm looking through the stats. Who's our highest earning employee? Oh, the real estate. Yeah. that's it.
Come in. You get a workspace. You can take some pictures. You get to meet your favorite blogger.
You might get pulled into some weird fights. Just deal with it.
You might become content. All of a sudden, who fucking knows?
Vote if someone has to live here in another city or something.
You could 100% consolidate this office to one floor.
Oh, for sure.
Is that whole I haven't been there yet. Is it all just empty now?
It's
pretty empty.
Half to 3/4 empty. Yeah.
Pretty empty.
But you guys would probably go upstairs, right? Because it feels like that's more open and more room.
Yeah, but this shit is all
built.
All the podcast studios and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely not necessary. It is certainly too much. What is it? What they say when parents downgrade? It's too much house.
Yeah.
It's too much office.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Way too much office.
You guys are empty nesters. Exactly.
As a former Dave Portnoy co-host guy, he was talking about. I actually don't know where they landed on this because it was amidst the whole Bree and Zach Bryan thing. But he was saying how he was about to phase out of BFFs. And I don't know. Did you watch that?
No.
He was basically saying, he was like, I'm almost 50. I have to stop talking about teenagers. Basically, what we were saying about him at 45, he's finally picked up on at 50. Huh?
What is he now?
We do this all the time. I've always been I've called him 5 years older than he is forever, so I never to make fun of him.
I would guess he's 47.
He graduated in 99. That's what that's our
bang fucking
47. So a couple more years to that 5 handle.
Uh-huh.
And I think he was saying, I think his point was kind of if they weren't going to talk about Zach Bryan, he was it was too much of an elephant in the room, and he can't talk about all these other people, and so he was going to be done. I don't know. I feel like his BFF's battery has been reinvigorated by this, so I don't know. But I don't know. Just having been the guy who tried to run a show with him before and do something similar.
I assume he'd ride it out as long as this is still going on, right?
I definitely think he's going to see this through because he's definitely riled up and been pulled into this drama. But I mean, it smashes. I get what he's saying. It's it's he's so successful and so much money that it doesn't matter. But it's also it was a good business model and it worked and it still is working. But by the way, why is Cat Timpf on there?
I was just thinking that. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like the unnamed show is basically what you did. That's a better.
Yeah, so it's kind of once I was out of the drama game, I was out of the drama game. I don't really care anymore.
Yeah. So did you? So wait, I mean, you were good at that. Did you just do it then, or you liked it, or you did it because you knew it was good for business?
I was I liked it. I was into Barstool. I knew everything. I was all right, I'd be good at this, Yeah. That was kind of how it...
But because it was Barstool, could you do what they do, just talk about, other drama, or, it had to be, Dave and Barstool?
Nowadays, no. I feel like when we were, really on the circuit, and it was, Jessica Alba and, all that shit. Yeah, now it's, this girl on TikTok. We got these 3 TikTok girls who are, 22 at the Chicago office, and they're, telling me people I don't know, but it's not the same. Movie stars are not the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's we were talking about the Zach Bryan thing the other day, and Kevin was telling me how Josh Richards had made music before, so he was on a Warner Bros. Thing, and it was he has a diss track about Lil Huddy. I was I don't know what the fuck that is.
That's what I'm saying.
It's just a delicate balance, man, because I heavily believe in aging appropriately. I think that's the way to go. But you got to do a very good job, and I almost wish I've done a better job of it over the years of, kind of reminding your audience of, how the game works, where it's I will keep making content that you like now I'm 40 years old, you have kids, you slow down a little bit. We're not talking about TikTok. We're talking about Rocky or whatever, Yeah. But in return, you got to stay subscribed. You got to fucking follow. You got to buy some tickets. You got to, because as you get older, you just do less and less of that stuff. You go out less. You keep up less. So it's then I have to adapt and get young if you're not going to fucking support me. You know what I mean?
Totally.
So, like, you know, I almost wish periodically throughout the years, like, reminded, like, I feel like the KFC Radio audience is very loyal, but, like, not the most active. Because that was always kind of our thing, was like, we don't even tell you to like and subscribe. We don't even, you know, it's like, whatever, we just do it. And it's like, you need that if that's going to be your audience. Because otherwise, you got to start appealing to the next crop of people who are on the blogs, on the, you know, listening to podcasts, at work, commuting, all that shit. And it's like, they want to talk about these people we don't fucking know.
Yeah.
So you got to really make a choice. I feel like we firmly set ourselves in no man's land.
Do you guys feel it though? Like there's like the first like,
I
real
feel it.
shift of like being like an older crew.
Yes, to an extent, because like I don't even feel like the shift. Like I still just like I'm interested in the stuff I'm interested in.
Yeah.
I would like I didn't feel anything like with Vine. I was like, oh, I don't really do that, and I kind of feel that with TikTok now. It's like, oh, I don't really do that.
But what about when you see like those company meetings and it's all about TikTok and it's like we're hiring these people because they make these trend videos. You know that's
Oh, you think I'm paying attention to that?
There's your first mistake.
fair.
You think I even went to that?
Fair.
Well, there's a couple ways you could look at that. Either like you see that. I am a very firm believer. I've always thought of like if being myself and doing what I do like gets me here, you know?
Yeah.
And if I were to like sell out, become a character, do something that I'm uncomfortable with, can like get me up here, like a little bit higher, but I've got to like basically fake it the whole time.
Yeah.
I'd rather be a little bit lower, but I just do what I do.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because
yeah.
I can do this in my sleep. If you ask me to do TikToks and shit, I got to like really work at it and be awkward and try to power through it and all that. And it's like, I think you got to, again, make your pick and don't be kind of stuck in no man's land. Either, like, stick to what you know and do, or I'm going to try to, like, learn how to do this app. And, I mean, the problem is, though, like, there's going to be another one and another one and another one.
Yeah.
So, like, at some point, TikTok's the old thing, you know? And then you're really fucking old. So it's like, you got to keep up with some of it.
Yeah.
It's also just impossible, though, to keep up with the names and what's popular. And it's like, it used to be like TV, music, and like that's it, you know?
Yeah,
now
exactly.
There's streaming and podcasting and short form video and long form video and YouTube. It's like you just can't possibly know all these fucking people, you know?
And that's why I remember sitting in Erica's office like years ago, and we're like, "Oh, do you have a TikTok?" I was like, "No." And she's like, "Well, why not?" I was like, "I'll be honest, like I know me, I'll be scrolling on that fucking thing for 4 hours a day." And I feel like all the relatability of like stuff that I know about now, like movies and TV, will go completely out the window.
Right.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
I just start getting into that shit.
But I think there is like there is a whole audience that's not on TikTok and is into those things. But like I said, you gotta like hold up your end of the bargain as the fan base, because if you're just like, oh yeah, I used to read Barstool and love it, but like now I don't anymore. It's like, well, now then you're useless to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
And
then you're not in the market anymore for me.
And I actually think that's not a flaw in the design of Barstool, but Barstool's so go, and you don't stop. But like for instance, you guys have Ari on all the time, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't he like take like 3 months to go like on a different trip and
Yep.
experience shit?
Yep.
He'll just
And then you
go.
come back. Like imagine if Fights you took off a month and you just hitchhiked across America.
Dude, I have always been firmly team have seasons of podcasts.
Yeah.
Like you have an off season. You have
Like,
a premiere.
yes.
First of all, you have a premiere and a finale that like generates hype. And you have time off to either just like reboot or go do some shit, experience some shit.
Yes, dude.
But I still to this day would do it. I just have immense fear that it's like if we took 2 months off and everybody goes and listens to Jeff Teague's new fucking podcast, that's awesome.
Yeah,
and you know, all up in the smoke with these two guys
Yep.
and these rappers and these guys, like all these amazing celebrities that you want to hear their stories. And then when we come back, it's like, I don't have any hours left because
Yes.
I'm busy. You know what I mean?
But
And I would like to think that our audience would, and maybe it would even. I really think it's my thinking there is backwards. I think if we took it away a little bit, people would be more excited to get it back.
Yeah,
it's almost
like-
like they don't listen because they take us for granted. If we were to build some hype around it, but it is a scary proposition.
But it's also like you don't even need like a full. Ari takes, Ari's just Ari.
Yeah.
But like it's also just like doing things.
Yes.
I think I told a story about going to a show Friday night. Like you got
to do shit to have stories to tell. You know.
Yeah, you don't have to go away for a month.
Yeah.
You can do something on the
I mean,
weekend.
I for sure have run into. I mean, I don't do as much, but I used to be like. There's just so much of my life now I really can't or should not or don't want to talk about. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what consumes my brain half the time is just shit that either shouldn't be public or I don't want public or I can't put my kids out there or it's kind of like nobody wants to hear your stories about your kids and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Here's what's interesting. I do think there is an aspect where people do want to see that
Well,
stuff.
yeah.
Like, I don't know if you have been second guessing, like putting all that stuff out there, like your kid's baseball game, but I legit
it?
was like, I enjoyed it.
Okay.
I did. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, it's just kind of
All right, good.
interesting to see you in a different light.
the
right,
dust
well,
bowl
you know?
is crazy.
Dude, I mean, the whole problem with my kids' sports is that we're not on the right side of the tracks for zoning to play in these towns. But like, we're not in like the hood, obviously.
Yeah.
And the fields and like the amenities that we got to deal with, it's
bad.
fucking crazy. Like it is.
What the fuck's
shit.
the right side of the tracks look like?
Spectacular.
No, I don't mean like the parents' income.
Yeah, it's fucking. I mean, it's
Like you're like I'm on the wrong side of the
I
track.
mean,
Where the
you want
fuck
the
do
real answer?
live?
It's Roger Goodell. It's that sort of shit. So,
Oh, man.
well, I like to hear that. We'll let you go. But I mean, I always run into like, I don't know if I can use my kids. I don't want their faces out there. I don't want them to be embarrassed about. They're getting to the point where actually I didn't. Let me tell the story real quick before you go, because I had explained the Rocky thing. But Keegan. Every time we pick a movie, Keegan is very like, I don't want to watch that. I don't want to watch that. I don't want to watch that. And we always have to convince him. And then we're always kind of like, I told you so. Because he always loves it. And he said, he literally like negotiated. He goes, I'll do it. I think he even said, I'll do it under one condition, which was a very funny thing for like a kid to say. He said something like that. Like, I have one rule. He said, you can't say I told you so. So the movie, he said it to Shay. The movie ends. I say to him, I was like, see, you liked it, right? We high five. And Shay says, imagine if we didn't watch that, Keegan. And he erupts and starts crying. And then she realizes that she kind of broke the rule.
Yeah.
And she starts crying. And we just had this amazing moment, and I have two weeping kids being like, you said, he said. And it was like, 'cause it was late. It was like 10 o'clock. I let them stay up late, and I was like, you guys got to go the fuck to bed. I was like, I pushed. We did championship games, and we did dance recitals, and now we watched a 2-hour movie at 10 o'clock. We have pushed it to the limit, and everyone broke. It was very, very fun.
I think you're gonna say
But
she
I
was
wanted.
like
I was gonna post that, but I was like, their friends probably could see that at this point,
For sure.
And I don't want them to be, you know.
Yeah.
So I got to pick and choose, and I don't want to look like I'm exploiting, but I definitely do. It's like I've always just lived my life, so
Yeah.
I gotta play it.
It's a fine line for sure.
Yeah.
But honestly, though, I do think there is some of that experience thing because the more John C. Reilly, I listened to a podcast he did one time, and he's like, everyone's always trying to look younger and get this done or that done, and it's like, what
What about this period of
aging?
life?
Like,
Yeah,
what's wrong with
just
aging,
aging.
you know?
And talking about, you talked about when you were, I mean, that thing is, when you're 25, it's inherently more interesting.
Yeah.
You're telling stories about hooking up and partying and traveling
sure.
and no experience, no responsibilities. And it's like some of the stories that I have fucking suck. But I guess there's other people who like want to
like it.
commiserate, and it's more like commiserating than it is celebrating and enjoying things. But there is,
I think with the Vine thing I said too earlier, where like I didn't feel any particular way about Vine because I was like 27,
Yeah.
and now you're like, so I wasn't like I'm too old for stuff. I was like, I don't know, I just don't like this.
I just
particular
do this thing over here instead. Yeah.
And then, but then when you're 35, you're like, am I too old now? It's like, no, I just still don't do that thing. Like I'm good. There are going to be other interests of mine. Like there will be new apps. There might be a new app that I do like, and I'll use that one in 5 years.
I
don't
wish,
really
I
do
hope.
like video stuff.
I do think that there is something like I think I'm bad at TikTok. You know,
Yeah.
like I mean, like I just post the same things basically on Instagram. It kills, and on TikTok it does nothing.
It does not.
And I even like I look at Jack Mack, and we do the same thing, but he does it TikTok-y.
Yeah.
And I think I do it like newsy. You know.
Yeah, I can see
or
that.
whatever he does differently, whether it's tangible or intangible. It zooms. We're talking about the same topics, same green screen, same everything, but there's a vernacular and a style, and whether or not he even realizes it, like that's what TikTok is. And I think people probably look at me being like, I don't know, that's a weird old guy. So whether or not you know, there's like little nuances of like how to do those things that, you know, obviously we're not dancing and doing that shit, but
sure.
even the way that you would cover
which
things,
we
I
have
think.
done, by the way.
Yeah, we have. We did. And that's the perfect example of something where I was like, that's going viral. That's making money.
Yeah.
We are just never gonna be that guy.
Yeah.
It's just
You're
like
right.
telling me to you have to sing a song now. It's like we just don't do that.
And Erica accepted
You know?
my answer, by the way. She
Yeah,
was
did
like,
she?
you know what? I get that. She's
Yeah,
like, that's
yeah.
not really you.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I was
Right.
like, all right,
You gotta
know?
be. I mean, at the end of the day, it's authenticity.
Yeah.
It's like you should work within your limits.
Yes.
But you can't be ever. Taking
I remember when they always said
inauthentic.
that about TikTok, when they'd be like, "It's just read your tweets into the phone." I'm like, that's a completely different thing. That sounds dumb.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That is
Like,
that
they
is
try and,
that's
like,
bad
explain.
TikTok. That's not.
Yeah.
People wouldn't like that. You know?
And also, I say the aging thing is I'm getting ready to go to Turkey. For
Are you
that.
doing
What
it?
are you doing in Turkey?
Dude.
You're fine, dude.
I know. I'm honestly.
The guys in Turkey are gonna be like, there's gonna be guys in the waiting room like, what the fuck is this
I'm
guy
like,
doing here?
well, my crown is a little.
Oh, okay, you got the
Yeah,
back.
I got the little like the skull cap going.
Yeah,
But
by the way, is Turkey like 15 hours away? What, is that
it's like 10.
Yeah, it's a
but
big
I'm
trip.
like half of it like doing it because of the experience
Yeah,
and because
yeah,
it's free.
for sure.
Yeah.
They're doing it for free.
Let's do it.
What would it
you know?
cost if it wasn't for free? Is that
It's
expensive?
$5 or $6 grand.
That's-
It's not
yeah.
bad. Here it's like
That's
fucking 20.
well worth it. I mean, if you have the means, the ability, and you're okay with flying to Turkey and shit, it's so worth it. $5 grand to have hair.
20 here?
Hair is like the most important
More,
thing.
baby.
Dude, America stinks.
I always thought it
America,
was.
when it comes to that shit, America stinks.
Yeah.
I thought it was 10 grand, and I was always like, why the fuck are people flying across the country and spending a couple $100 to save $3 grand? Like, that doesn't make
No,
sense.
it's-
It's that
Dude,
expensive?
I mean, there people beyond the hair. People are doing like there's a term for it. I can't remember it now, but it's like health travel. There's a catchphrase for it where it's like you fly to a
Medical tourism.
Yeah, that's it. You fly to Turkey, get all of your health tests, everything done, and fly back, and it's cheaper than if you just like went to a doctor here.
Yeah.
Really?
It's like $800 and you could get everything scanned on your body.
You get like stuff that here you have to be like 50 before your insurance covers it. You
Yeah,
can just
yeah.
get done, whatever, all your blood, all your skin, all your everything, and you can. First of all, I don't want to do that though. I'm like, because it's gonna come back with a whole bunch of shit that I got to take care of now.
Yeah,
But
true.
in America, it would cost you like $50,000, and like legitimately like tens of thousands, like $30,000, and over there it's like $700. It's fucking crazy.
I might do that
dude.
too. I might throw
Yeah,
that
while
in
you're
there.
there, you might as well.
I'm saying,
Yeah.
they're like, teeth whitening, $200. All right, please. I feel like I'm on Amazon.
You guys are gonna
no
come back
joke.
with like big veneers, new hair,
Dude, yeah.
chiseled abs, implants in the calves.
I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, document that. We want to see that one. All right, man. Get over to the bracket.
All right,
See ya.
guys.
Thank you, brother.
Appreciate it.
All right, voicemails today are brought to you by BetterHelp. BetterHelp is a sponsor, official sponsor of KFC Radio. Lord knows that everybody on this show needs as much mental health help as we can get. And this month, we're focusing on gratitude. It's Thanksgiving. What are you grateful for, Jackie?
Me?
Yeah.
So much. You guys. And lots more. Such as does anyone want to go first?
No, just you.
Wow, just think of one thing that I'm
Just like think
grateful
of
for.
one thing that you're grateful for. You sound like the Miss South Carolina. Did you? Yeah. Like the such? I think you even literally said like the such as.
I like the light in my apartment.
I didn't ask you what you like.
Oh,
I
I'm
asked you
grateful
what
for
you're
it.
You're grateful for a light in your apartment.
Just like the lighting in my the natural light in my apartment.
It is great when we shoot out of Ortis area.
Yeah.
It's the best.
Yeah. It's something that I appreciate every single day.
Okay, so you guys are grateful for sunlight.
Oh, okay.
Grateful for
And
the
the
sun.
health and the health of my friends and family.
Well, sunlight is good for your health. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get that vitamin D.
I feel like I didn't give you the answer that you
We
want.
should all be grateful for the sun. So here at KC Radio, we are grateful for the sun because it makes this earth stay alive. So be grateful for a lot of things in your life. Be grateful towards the people. Be grateful for yourself. Make sure that you express that gratitude because it can not only help you, but the people you're expressing it towards can help them mentally and put you in a better spot where you can really be your best self. And a lot of times you need to learn how to do that and how to receive that. And the best way to do that is by going to therapy with BetterHelp, where they have an entirely online-based system where you can link up with a doctor for texting, for phone calls, for video calls. You don't have to go to an office. You don't have to commute. You don't have to sit on their awkward couch. You don't have to be seen going there if you're still worried about the stigma, which is crazy to be worried about, but whatever. Either way, always BetterHelp is the best way and the easiest way to get online mental health help. So go to betterhelp.com/KFC and get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/KFC for 10% off your first month. Let the gratitude flow with BetterHelp. The feedback I got from the Suits episode of KFC was phenomenal. Everybody loving it. Everybody asking for more, saying that we looked sharp, asking where they could get the same suits, asking about different styles and colors. I got all sorts of questions and all sorts of feedback after we rocked our Express Modern Tech suits. So you can get the same thing right now by going to express.com. You can buy the Modern Tech suits in all sorts of different colors. I had the steel blue, steel gray. Feitelberg was rocking the burgundy. There was like a purplish plum eggplant color. They had light gray, dark gray, your classic blue and black. And then they also had some more fancy, more risky type styles and colors. All along with the classics, the Pima cotton T-shirts, the hyper stretch jeans, the 1MX button-ups that are perfect for work and when you need to dress up, but also comfortable enough. Everything's moisture wicking. Everything is machine washable and dryable. So it's all that quality stuff you need, all the staples in your closet while not breaking the bank and not having to worry about how you're going to clean it, how you're going to fold it, how you're going to pack it away. It's all very functional gear. So go to express.com today and get those deals, get those staples only at express.com.
Morning. Viva. Question based off of your oil change video. I think we need to revisit all of the things that we are told to do exactly by the book, but genuinely do not need to. How long is too long to have not gone to the dentist? I think 4 years is all right.
Yeah.
Also, fights. If you haven't listened to anything by The Story so far, they have 5 albums and just released a new one, and they're freaking phenomenal. And you and I have the same music taste, so listen to their new album, start to finish, fall in love with a brand new band. Jackie doing awesome on Fishbowl. Usually I would just listen to KFC Radio, and that's all the Barstool I would get. But now Fishbowl is amazing.
Shout out the bowl.
Nice.
Shout out the bowl.
Kevin, your content's just freaking awesome.
Gratitude, man. Yeah, fuck Pabs. Dude, it's gratitude. It's gratitude. I honestly, it's funny to go back to last episode where we were talking about guys getting compliments.
Yeah.
And we just talked about it with Eddie, where the guys complimented me on my blogging. And I was like, I haven't gotten a compliment in so long.
Oh my! Should we all give each other compliments?
I do get it. What'd you say?
Should we all give each other compliments right now?
I mean, we probably should be doing that, just in life. You know what I mean? But I shouldn't say that because I get a lot of comments that are designed to counterbalance the hate, where they're like, I don't know why people hate you so much. I like your content. You're great. Keep doing it. For every one asshole that's like, you're a fucking scumbag. You ruined your family. There's a bunch of people being like, you're an amazing dad. But they're kind of doing it because of that. You know what I mean? Just very rare that someone's just like, hey man, you're great.
Yeah. My friends and I, for a pregame, when my friends would make us all go around and give compliments, it was the best way to start a night. It was the best way to pregame. Yeah.
Yeah. It's got to be genuine. You got to know that it's kind of real.
Yeah.
But the amount of, because part of it is just shut the fuck up and do your job. And people are being mean to you or they're not being outwardly nice to you. Shut the fuck up. There are worse problems in life. That is true. The distance that it goes though, when someone is just when we I feel like we always get, bad news about work where it's hey, you're not growing this month, or we need to get our rates up, this downloads, whatever. And then Feitelberg and you guys sat in on one meeting and saw, how well we perform in comparison to like other shows, and it was like, oh, this feels great.
Yeah.
Like now I know we're doing something right, and as much as you shouldn't like rely on other people doing it, like talking to you and complimenting you, it just goes a fucking long way.
A compliment will get you through a month.
Yeah.
One compliment,
Like
a genuine one,
if someone
get me through like 4 weeks.
And it's like it doesn't even have to be someone who, obviously if a really talented person outside, unsolicited, it'd be great. But even if it's just like someone here who sells our shit, works on our shit, produces this, co-stars on that, if they're just like, this was really like great, or this is performing really well, or let me just let you know that somebody said this about you the other day, I'll get through a month. Yeah. And then I'll slowly drain. It's
Mine lasts like 1 week.
I think, it's probably lasts me like an hour.
Also, editing myself has
How much is this bitch editing herself?
drained.
Oh yeah, all of it. Well,
I mean,
like a lot of times I'll be like, hey, we should probably take that one thing out. And she's like, yeah, I'll do that because I'm taking out like a lot of stuff I said. I'm like, wait a minute. A lot of the shit you said is either funny or like a part of the story.
I take out less and less every time because I get lazy.
Okay, good.
But you should not have to look at yourself in podcast lighting for the amount of time that I look at myself. It has.
Well, by the way, let's just get better lighting.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that.
the recent lighting's been better. Recent times.
No, I know it's like good light, but you
Is
can
this
see
good
too
lighting
much.
or not good lighting? I will pay for good lighting.
It's good lighting. You can just see too much. Like I don't want. It's like how like HD high def. It's like not good. Like
there are sometimes I feel like I've gone into studios and been like, whoa, I look good.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if this is that, to me, that's worth the investment of like, let's if these are really expensive lights or some shit, if we all look good. Again, I mean, it is crazy, man. The podcast world is so nuts. I don't know how I feel about it. I kind of talked about it with Feitelberg, where it's like being somebody who started early in podcasting is cool to see how powerful and important it's become. But on the other hand, it is a little bit silly how important it's become, So part of me is like, I think it matters if we look good, and like the amount of, even Harold coming in here yesterday, Harold Perrineau, his makeup artist came in, touched him up. They decided whether or not he should wear his blazer or not wear his blazer. They made him take everything out of his pockets so that his pants were not bulging, and that's the kind of shit that like, it's probably silly, but it also probably really matters and makes you look good and makes people think a certain way about you when you do it every time, and that's how you become a successful star. And we are just like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Well, there's a charm to that.
Huh?
There's a charm to that.
So that's what I mean. That's my point about like, should podcasting be that where, it's like you tune in and the boys look as, great, or is it, it's like almost better that it's like, oh, you look like a slob today because he was having a down day. Like, oh, I know that feeling or whatever,
I was taken back by the suits. You guys looked unbelievable.
Yeah, the suits were great.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, that's similar to the compliment. It's like if we just were wearing suits every day, people would probably be like, yo, I don't know, you guys look great. Like that's a
also,
podcast.
Your lighting that specifically was really good too. It was like you were like glowing. Wait.
Just me?
Yeah, like I mean, fights was kind of blending into the couch's colors.
Yeah,
right?
that was
like really, like whatever. But
looking back, knowing now after we finished that episode, or I guess that's this episode, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, last episode.
Okay. So now knowing, like looking back at the episode in Suits, knowing that Feitelberg was self-conscious the whole time, you absolutely can see it. He was like, he was just like sitting on the couch like this, just like the whole time being like, what do I look like? What do I look like? What do I look like? Afterwards, I was like, oh, I kind of forgot that I was even wearing the suit. Like I just felt natural. And he said, he was saying like the whole episode I had been like completely tense because he's like, I didn't get a chance to look at myself in the mirror beforehand, so I don't know how I looked. And he's like, the couch is not the right color and all that. It was actually very funny at the end of it. He went to the bathroom and he came back in and he goes, should have looked in the mirror, and he lifts up his arm. He had a tag the whole time hanging down. But it is funny watching, like looking back, knowing that he was just so tight. Yeah, listen, I'm hot as shit. What do you want me to say?
White Sox Dave calling you saying you're balding was crazy by him.
I almost like that was so stupid that I just was like, no, that's the part in my hair. Yeah. The fact that like pretty much everybody immediately was like, no, that's just where his hair is parted. Let's talk about that. That clip.
That was so funny. I watched it 15 times.
100 times. Have you seen it?
No.
Okay. I don't know if this is a guy thing. I think you'll appreciate it no matter what. But to me, this is the funniest clip from Barstool in like 10 years, 5 years. This is so good, genuine, old school Barstool. It was the dog walk draft. We were talking about TV. I had bent my head down. I was reading something. So I bent my head down, and you could see the top of my head, and you could see the part. Oh. And Dave goes, "Are you balding?" And I was like, "I think it's just my part. Like, whatever." I'm looking at my cards, my shows on my card. And then he starts to call out Cons for being bald. And Cons, he shaves his head. He knows he's balding, so he bics it. And what unfolded was so goddamn funny and so natural. Like, so natural. Cons almost had that in the chamber. Like, he knew it was coming, and he just rips him. By the way, people call me bald all the time.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, listen, do I have a perfect hairline? No. Do I have like a 40-year-old hairline, like where I got the power alleys? Yes. But you're calling me bald? Like, do you know what actual bald people probably feel like? I have times where I'm like, I desperately need a haircut because I'm like, it's too much, you know? I know, again, not perfect, but those are the times where I'm like, I can't, it's like motherfuckers, I quote tweeted the Smallest Man diss. And I got so many people being like, this song could be about you. And I'm like, bro, you could say whatever you want about my marriage. But when people say that about Diddy. When I talked about Diddy, people were like, who are you to talk about this guy? I'm like, he is the most prolific rapist of all time. Zach Bryan is apparently spreading STDs everywhere while fucking all of that shit that they talked about. How am I getting lumped in with this shit? Like, it drives me and then it's like, so I'm like a rapist, dangerous, alcoholic, womanizing, bald person? None of these things are true. None of it. Anyway, play the Cons clip and look at me the whole time if I'm in this edit, because I was just
Kevin, your
loving
haircut in a little
this
bit.
Is brutal.
Is it? It's just parted in the
That's
middle.
just his part, I think.
Yeah.
Dave's trying to wish baldness on everybody.
Yeah, he's trying to get everybody over to Turkey.
Aren't you exceptionally thinning, Connor?
He's bald.
Me? I shaved my head. What are you, like...
So who are you to
R-worded?
fucking talk?
Because I've already accepted that's who I am. That's the lot in life God gave me. And I'm comfortable with it. Dave, look at my face. I'm handsome. You need the hair, buddy. I'll say that. You need the hair. Okay?
No
You're
way
short.
handsome.
You're short. You're ugly. You're overweight. Dave, I get it. Go to Turkey. Take care of the hair, bud. I have so
Challenge,
much going for
Connor.
me.
I will beat you.
Look great.
I will beat
I
you
look
in a
great with
1 mile
shaved head.
race. In a 1 mile race the next time I see you.
Dave, do you forget that I was in the Army for a decade plus of my life?
A decade plus ago, you moron.
Dave did run the
Dave,
marathon. He
Dave.
ran the marathon.
I've run 5 marathons. I had to do a 2-mile test in the Army. Dave, do you know what my best 2-mile time was?
In the Army? Are you? You have to run 2 miles in
Dave,
16 minutes.
Do you know what my best
I know what the
2-mile
Army
time
is.
was in the Army?
What
it
was
was
the best
11
2 mile?
minutes, 9 seconds.
50
Do the
fucking
math,
years ago.
dummy.
50 fucking years ago.
Dave, the difference is I'm an athlete. You're not. Some of these things will never leave me.
Challenge. That was so fucking funny to me because, first of all, it was so genuine. He's like, you're short, you're ugly, and then he pauses, he goes, you're overweight. It went on even longer than that on the real show. It was such a dress down. He just fucking flamed him. But the challenge, like he threw the red flag. He was like, challenge, has his finger in the air. I will challenge you to a 1 mile race. As if like being short, bald, overweight, all the stuff he said will just be erased if he beats him in a 1 mile race. That to me is so perfectly old Barstool of like, where you're all idiots. Yeah. We're all just being dumb. Neanderthal shit like, you're ugly, I'm faster than you. Like, but that, I'm handsome, you need it. It's like, oh, God. So I think that's obviously got to happen. Dave was supposed to come with Eddie, but Captain Khan's daughter was sick, so he couldn't do it. But he was going to fly in, and they were going to do the race. There's a lot of people at Barstool who think they're still 18, and they're like, I can fucking dunk, and I can run a this many minute mile. And didn't Hank say he was going to try to dunk like recently? Yeah. He was like, I'm going to work towards it. So it's not like impossible, but it's pretty impossible. I actually really wonder if you don't start. I feel like you could really even like bust your ass and work out, but if you're like 30 plus, it's just like you don't have the bounce. You know what I mean?
When do
you can still dunk?
I can't dunk anymore.
Not anymore?
No.
You might want to. Word of advice.
Yeah.
Try to get back to that point.
Yeah, I am right
because
now.
Because if you can dunk when you're like 30,
yeah,
it's like being a magician. You know, like when people go nuts for Oz the Mentalist. Like if you were just like you're hanging out at the park, especially if you have kids later. Like if I could dunk right now,
yeah,
I think my kids would think I'm Superman.
Yeah.
And you're like young enough that you probably could recapture it. I don't think I could be even if I got in shape, started eating better, all that shit, lost weight, gained muscle, I still don't think I'd have the explosiveness to ever dunk.
Yeah, I mean, it was only for like a year I was dunking. And then
in games or just be able to dunk?
Just be able to dunk. Yeah. I would never try it in game. That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
But I was like for a year I was just dunking consistently. And
if I could dunk,
quit. Yeah.
I would go to the park every day and just dunk. Just be like, look at me dunking. I dunked the ball 100 times in a row. So we have a lot of people at Barstool who think that and challenge and make these challenges sometimes. I think Cons is smart enough and realistic enough to know what he can do and cannot do still.
If he's running an 11,
well, that was in the Army.
Yeah, I know, but still.
But I'm of the school of mind. If at any point in your life you could run like a 5:50 mile, while running 2 miles, you could probably still bust it if you needed to. He's like, I gained 15 pounds. It was 15 years ago. I'm not gonna be able to do a 5-something mile, but he's probably gonna do like a 7. You know, like a low 7. And yeah, I think people do forget that like when you're actively in war, you probably can still access. You can dial it back. You know what I mean? So I would bet heavily on Captain Cons on that one. White Sox Dave, very much thinks he has the Burt Kreischer, Mickey Mantle gene thing going for him. He thinks he can do anything. And I will say, Dave is he is surprising. He's more capable than what you think when you look at him, because he is stockier and smaller. And I don't know. I just don't think people look at him and go like, that guy can probably run a marathon and throw a ball 90 miles an hour and all those things. He can do some shit. But I think he's getting older too, and he's forgetting what the reality of the situation is. I would pretty much think that Captain Cons would be a lock on that one. But I don't know. Sometimes you get surprised at Barstool.
Yeah. No, I would say Cons.
Cons? Cons.
Yeah,
locked in. So, I mean, this will happen for sure. The good thing about this one is that you don't need to, it's not many, it doesn't take a lot to set up a 1 mile race. As far as the original question, though, by the way, the oil change is crazy. Like, I went to get my oil change because the fucking the light came on again, and the last time I got my oil checked, they said, at this many miles you should get it checked again, and I didn't get it checked till the light came on, but the light came on like 4,000 miles after the Valvoline guys recommended it to me. I'm thinking, why is the light not coming on at the same time you're recommending it to me? Because that makes me feel like it's a racket. If you tell me you need to come in every 3,000 miles but the light's not going on until I go every 6,000 miles. That just feels like you're trying to double up on the oil changes, you know?
Yeah.
But then he takes out the little dipstick thing and he goes, look at this. Like, look how bad this is. Like, we need to flush your engine out and do it right. And I'm like, I don't know what that looks like. Maybe not. I don't know. I just have to take your word for it. You know what I mean? So it feels like the oil change thing has been like, kind of like, yeah, you know, you have to come in every, you know, like 3 times a year. It's like, I think you guys just want to make money on fucking oil changes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's hard to tell what's a scam and what you really need to do. Dentist is the biggest scam going when you think about it.
Oh, I know.
Like, if you don't fucking brush your teeth, you need the dentist. But if you floss and brush and use mouthwash every day, that's just what they're going to do at the dentist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's almost like, it's like you wash your body every day, right? If like you didn't do that, you'd probably need a doctor to, like, you know, I don't know, save your skin and shit. It's like, but you just fucking clean it.
Yeah. Yeah. Or like the orthodontist stuff is like what really.
Well, orthodontist, I somehow got stuck in like orthodontic algorithm on Instagram.
Yeah.
The shit that they can do with like braces, fucking it.
Yeah.
I
But,
watched
like,
a time lapse. This motherfucker had 2 teeth in like the bottom of his mouth, like
yeah.
that part. And I watched that they put brackets like on his skin almost, and it pulled it up out and in to like here. It was just like, how the fuck figured that out? Somebody was just working on, be like, you got crooked teeth. We're gonna put metal brackets on it, pull it with wires, and it'll be straight. What?
It does seem like an ancient like. No.
I almost think it's the opposite. I feel like people used to just be like, I don't know, these are my teeth and they're crooked. And then people were like, well, we need to make like your smile pretty, so like we will slowly move these teeth like little centimeters, millimeters over time.
Mm-hmm. I think veneers have gotten out of control though.
Dude, I gotta get mine done.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I have
Great teeth.
I have veneers.
Oh, okay.
And so I used to chip my. I have these 4 are veneers.
Yeah.
And I used to chip my 2 front teeth so often, just like being an idiot, playing sports, like backyard wrestling, just being a moron. And I kept chipping them. They just kept doing like these little fixes. And eventually my mom was like, you just got to get fucking veneers. So she hooked me. I was like 18 at the time. She kind of paid for them. She was like, you know, net, but you're supposed to get them changed every like 10 years. Yeah. I'm still on my first set.
Really?
So I'm on like, but again, I'm like, the only reason I'm really going to get them changed is this one has a crack down the middle. Yeah. And it's starting to be visible. And I'm sure it's also like not good for bacteria and shit like that. But other than that, I was like, I don't know. They look fine, right? Do I really need to go get them changed every 10 years? Because that sounds like you want, you know, another 10 grand from me.
Yeah.
But what you're saying, just too many people are getting them, or the veneers are
so
very
obvious with
yeah.
people. Yeah, like where it's like Matthew Stafford's what made me realize it. Matthew Stafford just looks ridiculous.
It looks like, you know, chiclets, legit. My thing though is like when I got them done, and I'll probably do this again this time. I'm probably gonna whiten the fuck out of the rest of my natural teeth. And get some white ass veneers. Yeah. I don't want to look ridiculous, but when they like, I remember them. They were holding up different colors of like examples, and they were like, "Do you want a more like natural look?" I'm like, no, I want white teeth. Yeah. I'm not gonna do all this and get like some off-white, tan, beige-ish teeth because he's like, that's really what your mouth is supposed to look like. Like, I don't fucking care. It's like when you get fake tits and they're like, you really like you should keep it on the smaller side. It's like, I'm here to get big tits, bro. Like I'm not gonna do like a double F, but I'm not gonna, you know. Do you want to go to like a B cup? No, bitch. I want titties. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm not gonna go through all the struggle and then be like, your teeth look like, you know, fucking regular ass people teeth. You know?
Yeah.
You have good teeth, like.
No, I'm gonna get veneers. Like that's gonna be one of my next things.
What? I don't like.
I just like they're I don't love them. They're short. No.
They're short?
Yeah.
Smile.
Like they're
that
fine.
Smile. Show me your fucking teeth. They look like totally normal teeth.
They're just like, I don't know.
They're short teeth.
They're short teeth. Like I kind of have like baby doll teeth.
They're what?
They're like baby doll teeth.
I got little baby doll teeth. What you should do is spin that and be like, look at you, big tooth bitches.
Yeah, big tooth horse
look at my little
bitches.
dainty baby doll teeth.
That's actually so
compared
true.
to your fucking chompers. It's just not cheap though.
I know.
And it's
so
one thing
that's
that's
like
not
when I
getting
get
cheaper.
money.
I remember being like, 10 years from now, they'll figure out new technology and shit. It's like $2,500 a tooth.
Really?
Yeah.
My friend just sent me a video of like me from freshman year, and I was like, mark my words. By the time I'm 30, I'm gonna have $20 million. And I mean, $4,000 in credit card debt. Like, I'm not on that track at all.
Yo, this credit card debt is weighing on you, huh?
No,
I feel like it comes up
I
every
actually
episode.
don't give a fuck about the credit card debt. It really doesn't affect me at all.
I decided I'm gonna go bonkers on Bitcoin.
He was just talking about it.
Everything's all settled for me money wise now.
Yeah.
I wish it was like a little bit earlier because it's at an all time high now. But if you really think about it from the long haul, like if it's worth 80,000 versus 60,000, it's like if you believe in it, that's pretty negligible, which I know is obviously that's a lot of money. But the point of like the investment, it's being like nothing else would you ever be like, fuck, I wish I got in on Apple at like $420 instead of $440 a share. You'd be like, I want to get Apple, you know, I want to buy stock in Apple. I think it's like owning like a, it's not.
It's like almost owning property.
It's like a diamond or like gold, or it's like a standard that like, if El Salvador makes it El Salvador has like $119 million of Bitcoin. It's like their national currency. If shit like that is happening, it's just gonna keep going.
Yeah.
Like
I
it's
mean,
just.
I
especially
invested like
Trump.
a year ago, and I could take it out now. Probably really use the money, and I
No,
would
dude,
never
don't do
ever
it.
touch
Don't
that.
do it.
Yeah,
Do not do it.
Yeah.
You leave that shit. How much do you have? You don't have to say, but like
10,000.
yeah. If you just leave that alone, you'll have you'll be able to pay for your kids' college or retirement or whatever. Like there's no need to sell it now if you don't have any bills and everything to worry about.
No.
Part of me wants to go like bonkers with it because here's how I think. You know that story of the guy who like lost his hard drive in the landfill?
Yeah.
If you don't know the story, this guy had like 200 Bitcoins. So they're so I think today it's going to hit $100,000 per Bitcoin. He had 200 of them, but he lost this hard drive because he got them so early that it was like, this is fake. This is never going to be anything. And it's in a landfill somewhere in America, I think like Illinois. And he has been like on this crusade to try to look through the landfill to try to find it. And the most recent thing is I think he petitioned like the city to be like, can I officially make it into like a work site and try to find this? Like I'm sure hire like bulldozers and people to look for it. And they denied him. And I think he's trying to like sue them. I'm sure they're like, we don't know what you're going to find there. Fucking dead bodies turn up or whatever, so we can't have that. But I could imagine being like, if I have $200 million worth of something, potentially, I'll spend the rest of my life looking through there. Yeah. It's better to forget your job. Just go try to find that fucking hard drive, you know?
See, I would not. I would just be like, it's gone, and just lose it. Like I would not.
It's so funny
feel
because he would say the same thing if he was here. I would be like,
there's no chance I would go through
it's
that.
worth me like trying to hire somebody like to go find it. But my point being that when I see stories like that, I'm like, man, I wish I had Bitcoin like that. And it's like, you can go buy it at your own level, you know, but it's like, it's attainable. Go do it. Every time you're like, man, I wish that I had it. It's like, you can, everybody wishes they got in earlier, but like get in now. I don't know. I just feel like it could go absolutely bonkers, and there's like it's a very limited amount of it, you know, considering what it is. So I think I'm gonna go heavy on it. Sucks being in New York though. You can't. It's very hard to. They have limits and restrictions, and there's like there's companies that you can kind of basically convert your paycheck. Like it takes a little bit of your paycheck and buys Bitcoin like every pay period. So it just kind of accrues. You just can't do that kind of shit in New York. Fucking.
How about the guy? I forgot which NFL player got paid $13 million in Bitcoin.
Yes.
Genius.
Well, that's so basically he was doing. I think he was using the same company I'm talking about, is Strike, where I think all they're doing is just taking a little bit of your paycheck and they go buy it. It's not like you're getting paid in Bitcoin; you're just converting it. But it's out of sight, out of mind. And I heard a story of a guy who, when Bitcoin dropped to like 20 grand. He sold his Lamborghini. He was a rich guy already. Sold his Lamborghini and put all that into it and turned a Lamborghini into like $8 million. And I'm like, I hear those stories and I'm like, shit. And it's like, go do it. Like, just go try to fucking buy some. So, I don't know. We'll see. Speak of the devil, Lou calling me. I'm sure he's... Anyway, I guess next voicemail. Knicks beat the Sixers the other day. Did you see Deuce McBride just body Joel Embiid?
No, I missed that.
Embiid was trying to just come across the middle, and Deuce just kind of shouldered him, and Embiid off his feet flew. That dude is washed.
It's
bro.
over.
I'm telling you, if it hasn't already happened, I think he's about to just go right off a cliff. It goes fast with those big men.
They had him ranked as the 6th best player in the NBA going into the year.
And I
don't
get
think
why
he's cracking top 25 right now.
But I get based on his skills and what he did, but when it goes with those big men, it goes. And right now, everyone's playing for the mid-season NBA Cup, so everything is in the NBA is a little bit heightened, a little bit more. And right now, you can get started with the NBA at the DraftKings Pick6 app. So what you do is you select 2 or more players and choose if they'll have more or less of a certain stat. So 2 guys, are they going to have points, this many rebounds, this many three-pointers, and more. You track your picks for huge cash prizes. That's all there is to it. You can pick anywhere from at least 2 guys upwards, and you pick 6 and go along with their props and just watch the cash roll in. Pick6 is available in most states, including California, Texas, Georgia, Missouri, and more. And for all first-time Pick6 players, check this out. New customers, you pay $5 and you get $50 in Pick6 credits. So another cool little wrinkle. DraftKings is the best at adding these little extras to your regular gambling. And you can do it right now when you use promo code KFC. Download the DraftKings app, Pick6, and you'll get $50 in Pick6 credits. So it's DraftKings Pick6, promo code KFC, only at DraftKings Pick6. The crown is yours.
KFC Radio, second time posting in KFC fights, Jackie, especially now Jackie that she's involved on the third chair. Adolescent Dadolescent was a great segment. Can we bring that back? And at what point does Kevin, with his money, go to adolescent and the other 2 go to a dadolescent state as we continue, or who knows? But would love to bring back Adolescent Dadolescent.
Adolescent Dadolescent was a fun one when me and
your weekends very much differ. Always loved hearing that.
When me and Feitelberg were living very different lives of he was like a kid and I was doing dad shit. We both he's kind of met me on the other side of that, where it's not like he's partying and going all over the place anymore. I don't know how to do it for. I guess you could just be. I could do adolescent with you. That feels more like a boy thing.
I mean,
it would need
I'm
to be
also
like
starting
mama-lescent.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh my god. I'm starting to get in bed at 9.
You're an old woman now.
I'm kind of becoming an old woman or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I still think of it as. I think of Feitelberg as my goofy clown friend. I just treat Jackie like I treat Shay. What I pulled such a dad move yesterday on the sidewalk when we passed each other. I do that shit to Shay, and I was Jackie was coming the opposite direction, and I just decided to fuck with her, and I was like, "Oh my God, is that Jackie Nichols from Barstool Sports? Do you guys know her? Fishbowl, jacked up, And she's like,
so
oh my God. And I was like, and then we just, you went your way and I went mine. And I was like, I literally do that to my daughter all the time, just with the express purpose of embarrassing her.
As soon as I saw you open your mouth, I was like, oh fuck.
Yes, that's what and Shay does the same thing. She's like, Dad, stop.
The other day I was crossing the sidewalk and I went to cover my eyes from the sun, shield my eyes from the sun, and it looked like I was saluting.
Oh.
No, it was a slow salute. And everyone stopped to look at me, and I was
You should have finished it.
Yeah, I held it there for a second. I felt so much power in that moment, but then I just was I felt really awkward. But
I don't get what he means by. I guess if I was just to get reckless with my money, I could be adolescent again. But I'm the furthest thing from that.
You should be doing yachts.
Yeah, I don't have yachts. I'm hoping that I that maybe if I dump it into Bitcoin, I can. I don't feel like I have like. I'm like worried about money more than I ever was now that I have it, which is very strange.
Problems.
Yeah, well, that's true, but I'm also like, I don't want to be the guy that like, once you have money, if you don't do it right, people look at you like, oh, he's the idiot who like blew it or didn't invest it right or something like that. You know what I mean? So I had to pay a fuck ton in taxes. It kind of went so fast. Like, I paid a fuck ton in taxes. I bought a house cash. I bought other people's houses, helped my family buy houses, and then like the divorce settlement was way higher than I really ever thought it was going to be. And it's like, all right, I'm obviously champagne problems I'm talking about. But it's not like, kick my feet up and never work again sort of shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's certainly not like go be a adolescent and blow it all,
I feel like I saw a chart once that was like your age is like technically like the least amount of like actual like, you know what I mean? Like, because like with family and kids and everything, like it doesn't take until later in the career to actually make like comfortable money.
Wait, say it again. So like when you're,
it's like
my generation, or like the number, my age, like
it's like the number, your age, like in terms of like having just made money, like starting to make like not like just 20-year-old like whatever money. Right. But then it's still like you're supporting a family. And like the older you get, obviously, like the more your career. Like,
I think what happens is, I think a part of it is like inflation and cost of goods and all that. But I think the rate at which your bills pile up at my age, if you put kids in private school, if they, all the shit you have to pay for with them potentially, unless you're really getting like serious raises and bonuses and promotions at work, the bills like start to outweigh the money. So it's like, I'm making more than I ever did, but I also have way more responsibility than I ever did. Where if I, you could cut my money in half, but if I didn't have kids and all that shit, I would feel like a baller. Yeah. Like I just can't even fathom anymore the idea of like not having bills. I mean, everybody has some bills, but just like every, few months I have to pay like an installment of tuition. That's a fuck ton of money. And if that just wasn't there, I'd be like, oh my God. I use all my money for me, Or even like if I didn't have kids and we got divorced, like it would have just been like, see you later. Like you go your way and make your money. I go my way and make my money. And it's just kids. They're so fucking expensive.
I had my first experience with like being a dad this week, and I went down and visited my little sister and had my little brother with me, and I realized like it all like clicked for me. Like, oh, this is why parents are so like stressed about money and always like, because everything just triples.
How old is your
my little sister is 22, my little brother is 17. Okay, but like still like we go out to eat. And that's just triples. It's like, now I get it. You're not just taking care of yourself.
It's three others. Everything, bro.
And it all clicked to me. I was like, I get it now.
Yeah, there's definitely a very big movement of like, I saw an article that was like grandparent grief of like people coming to terms with they're not going to be grandparents because their kids have decided to not have kids or they had kids later in life because it's like an insane burden and very hard to pull off. I don't know how. Let me just say this. I'll look straight into the fucking eyeballs of the people who have like, if you have like 4 kids, 5 kids, I do not know how you do it. I have 2 kids, and the weekend I had, it was like, wake up and take this one to practice at 8 a.m., come back and grab this one and take him to practice at 10 a.m. Then he's got a baseball game at 11. She's got dance at 2. Wake up the next morning, she's got gymnastics, he's got football, we've got to go to like a birthday party. I blinked, and it was like Sunday night, 9 o'clock, weekend over, like, and that's with 2. If I had a third, it would be like impossible. If it was double with 4, I'm like, there's physically not enough people, time in the day to get all this done. And if you have anything over that, if you have like 5, 6 kids. First of all, you have a litter. You don't have kids. You have a litter. And I almost would be at the point where I would question your motives. I'd be like, what's going on here? You're either a religious freak, or you're trying to prove some sort of point, or you just want like a little army of little fuckers to like you know, I feel like people always tell me they're like, oh, I just make the older ones take care of the younger ones now. And it's like, well, just don't have that money. You don't have to fucking worry about it. But I don't know what happens when there's a generation of people who are like, I'm not having kids, and their grandparents don't have it. It's like, part of it is cool because it's probably like you saved money for this, for college, or for this to spoil the kids. And then it's just like, well, I'm just going to spend it on myself. But there's definitely going to have to be some reckoning where it's like, I mean, you'd have like a legit population decline issue. Like Japan, I was reading about Japan. Once like the birth rate is so low, all the old people are going to die, and there's so few young people replacing them, they're going to lose like a third of their population. Yeah. If you were to if like a fucking meteor hit tomorrow and you lost a third of your population, it would be considered like, you know, an apocalyptic situation, and it's just gonna like happen to them because nobody's fucking, no one's leaving it in. Nobody's having kids because it sucks, dude. Like, you really have to be like the weekend I had with my kids with baseball and Rocky. Like, I was like, this is unbelievable. You cannot replicate this. I don't care what people, the single people of the world who are traveling and fucking and partying and just doing what they want to do and not doing what they want to do. You can tell me how great that is, but like, there's no amount of money or places I could go or whatever that would replicate that weekend I had, you know? But that's like, you know, these moments where I think people who don't have kids are very happy to just be like, I worked hard for my money and I'm like going to enjoy it for me, everything I do, you know? It's a hard thing to like convince people of. It's like, no, have kids and like spend all the money on them and don't have the freedom and don't have, you know, I can see why people are not doing it, and I don't know how you fix it, but you two have to promise me, if either of you are married before 30, I'll kill you. And if you have kids before 30, I'll kill your kids. I'll wipe them all out. I'll kill your whole fucking bloodline.
I mean, like, I'm not in.
So insane to do that. So insane.
Yeah. It's also weird to think, like, I don't know, like, as a woman, I probably, like, am more likely to be, like, the stay-at-home one.
Yeah.
So then if I have kids at 30, I only have 5 more years of a career. Like, that freaks me out.
Right.
Like, that's
weird.
So weird. Like, I worked
So
my whole
hard to, like,
life.
get
I
there.
went to college.
Yeah.
I, like, busted my ass out of college. And now I only have 5 more years? Like, that makes me, like...
I've never thought about it that way. That's
Yeah.
a strange...
Like, I feel like I, like, did so much. And,
I
like,
mean, you don't have to be like a stay-at-home mom right
Yeah,
off the
yeah,
rip.
yeah. Like,
But
I'm
theoretically,
sure I'll
that's on
figure
the
it out,
table
but
where it
yeah.
would be like, okay, all of that for nothing.
Yeah.
Not for nothing.
So much
but,
money. Like, I should have gone to USC then. Like, the lowest, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Or even, I mean, it's just like, yeah, your kids would be like, oh, mom like works around the house. And it's like, mom used to produce a fucking major podcast and be on the mic. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to give that kind of shit up, you know?
Yeah. It freaks me out.
It's hard. It is hard to do both, but I do think it's better. The real issue, I swear to God, I don't want to go back to like Mad Men days of like, you know, you women stay in the house, cook and clean. You don't have bank accounts. You don't have rights, and the men control it. I don't want that. But I think there's something to be said for when you have your set roles. It's like, I have to make all the money, and that sucks because that's like a burden, and it's scary to be like, I have to provide for everybody. And you're at home like, this fucking blows because I am gonna put a bullet in my head because these kids are driving me crazy, and I don't get to use my skills, and I have to leave my career behind, all that shit. But when everybody's doing a little bit of all of it, it sucks.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when you're a mom and you have to work at your career and do the mom stuff, and I'm doing the same thing. It's like we're all getting it to be a little bit shitty, rather than it's just like, I have this thing that sucks, but like then I don't have to worry about this whole other side of it.
Yeah.
And you have this thing that sucks, but you don't have to get up and go to work, you know? But when we both do the work stuff and the parenting stuff, and it's just like, no, I can't, nobody can keep up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it's crazy. It's very hard to be a like full professional if you're going to be a really engaged parent. It's very hard.
So you don't think, like I think you talked about how like it is kind of nice to have like days off almost.
I think I'm not going to recommend the divorced life, but if there was a way where it was like you can still be in like a happy marriage and a one unit family, and it's like I'm gonna take a couple days off and you have to do it all. It's just that doesn't work. You start to resent your spouse like so much. Yeah. It's just like I'm gonna put my feet up and chill and play video games and watch football because it's my day off. Like your wife's just never gonna let you do that. You know, like no, get the fuck up and help me with the kids. You know, but there is, you know, but I also feel the other side. It's like when I have my kids, I do everything. I have to do everything for them. Like. It's never like, hey, honey, can you make lunch for them? You know what I mean? It's like I have to feed them, I have to clothe them, I have to take them everywhere. We have to do the fun stuff, we have to do the serious stuff, we have to get the homework done. I got to you know, follow all the rules, but also be the fun guy. And you know, whereas I think when you're doing it together, you can kind of take time off. You know what I mean? Like it's not constant. So I like jam all that work into it, but then I can kind of be like, all right, come Monday morning, back with their mom for a couple days, and I can reboot. You know, by Wednesday, I'm back at it. Like, but that's, you know, probably people view that as like I'm being a bad dad or controversial, whatever. But I think that's a better way than just being like, you're both miserable. It's kind of like when you first have kids and you have to take shifts of sleeping, who sleeps and who doesn't. And I you know, stereotypically speaking, it's usually like if it's the dad's turn, your wife's going to sleep and being like, it's your turn. When it's mom's turn and things are not going well with the baby, dad's getting out of bed. Like, there's no way you're just be like soundly sleeping while the baby is screaming, crying. She's gonna be like, get the fuck up and help me with this baby. But it really should be. It's like, no, my turn. I need a break. You know, that's where I don't know. It seems very hard to maintain that. Like that's why a lot of people get pretty miserable sometimes. Where it's just like that's why you just shouldn't do it until you're ready. Last one. Oh, you know what? Forget the voicemail. You want to talk fucking quantum particles for a second?
Should we?
Is that we don't have enough time?
I mean, we do, but
it's pretty long as is. Let's tease it for next time.
Okay.
Let's do one last voicemail, and I also want Feitelberg to be here. Part of me doesn't want Feitelberg to be here, so because he'll just be like, I don't want to talk about this, but part of me wants to torture him with it as well. Yeah. But that shit is crazy.
No. Like I this was the exact video that I found. Like the cartoon video. This was the exact one that I found years ago, and what got me. I
had seen it a long time ago, but I didn't know about the observer part.
Yeah.
But it was basically the idea of like, I don't think we can dive into it.
This is why I also want to get the rights to the video so we can put the full video in.
You have to see the video. We have to give it a full explanation. It can't just be a quick thing. But it's basically like the world is a simulation, and they almost like proved it scientifically. The way this was described was basically, think about a video game when you see a fucking castle in a video game, but the video game doesn't render the graphics until you go into the castle. It's like right now it just looks like a castle from the outside, and when you walk in the door, it'll have all the inside stuff, but it does not generate that indoors until you're there because it needs to save space and memory and all that sort of shit. And this was applying that to life, where it was like, imagine basically if life does not exist until you observe it and set eyes on it and interact with it. And they kind of scientifically proved that.
Yeah.
Which seems like it's impossible to. But they did with I think protons? Electrons, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is all gibberish right now if you don't know what we're talking about. But we'll do it next episode where we can really talk about it.